This is a weird one, to say the least. I've been sent this semi-viral clip from the Daily Wire, like a little like talk that their hosts had together that has kind of gotten a lot of attention online recently. I have some things to say about it. I've already watched it. I'll admit I pre-watched it. It's only like...
There are two ways to beat the left.
It's only a minute and a half long, but I mean, you heard a bit of it there when we heard Michael Knowles start with, there are two ways to beat the left. I think you know why this caught my attention. I don't know if I want to preface this video or not, or if I just want to like just get right into it and respond to it and then get into the point I wanted to make. I think that's what I'll do. So this is literally all the like main Daily Wire hosts, like the four horsemen of the apocalypse. You've got Andrew Klavan. This guy you'll know as the dude from when the Witcher Netflix show originally came out, and there was that one image of like that queen lady holding a sword. And he went on like a long rant about how no woman ever could beat any man ever in a sword fight. And even like a lot of now conservative chud grift YouTubers dunked on him back then, like Shadiversity, because he'd literally claimed no woman ever could beat any man ever in a sword fight, regardless of strength, experience, training, nothing. Quality of weapon, a man would win, is what he claimed. Has that guy played Witcher? No, he saw the show, or he was commentating on the trailer for the show. We've got Ben Shapiro, you know him. Michael Knowles, a fellow demon, you know him. And then, of course, Matt Walsh, another demon, who you also know. They don't need introduction, but Andrew Klavan does. I like how they're all smoking cigars, too. Like, there's something about conservative content that gives them this one-up over left-wing content where there's this expectation that on the left, if you advocate for positive systemic change, then you yourself must, to live your principles, live a lesser life financially. And while I do think being like a socialist and having an insane amount of wealth is arguably bordering on hypocritical, I do think that when lefty YouTubers succeed, it gets a lot more pushback from their own side than any time it happens to conservatives. Regardless of how like morally fine it is for said content creator to get that money, right? And so what conservatives have over the left in that way is they can put a lot of money into showing off how much money they have. And that is part of the attraction. They're smoking like cigars and have like their triangle table and their nice like their mugs and their expensive alcohol and their like $1 million studio in the background. And they're acting like they're in suits. They're like acting like well-off, wealthy. They've won at life, and now they're sitting around and just kind of talking it out. And we peasants are lucky enough to get like a fly on the wall's view at what they have to discuss. It's something about like this conservative content aesthetic that I've noticed, and I'm wondering if you guys have picked up on it too. Hypers in chat, if you've picked up on it. I can't be the only one, right? Like, it's a big part of why I feel like they tend to just kind of like smoke cigars and wear suits in a lot of their content. Like, they're YouTubers. They don't need to wear suits. Like, I don't wear a suit. Granted, I don't have as many viewers as they do, for now. That can change if you guys like the stream, though. That can change. You guys are the ones in charge of whether or not progressive lefty content creators you watch get anywhere close to the amount of success these conservative pundits do. That is completely on you. I mean, obviously, you got to upload, and I'm always going to be uploading. Vosh will be uploading. Demon Mama will be uploading. Keffels will be uploading. But for those videos to go anywhere, for those channels to go anywhere, it is on you guys as an audience to support those channels, and that applies to every channel you watch. Do you have a favorite Minecraft Let's Player that you go back and you watch still that's got like a... you know, maybe a smaller channel these days? Make sure you're dropping likes and commenting on their videos. It helps a lot, even if you're just one person. You should really get into the habit of doing that for all of your favorite content creators. It makes you a much more, I like to call it a productive member of YouTube society. That's the way I like to put it. Even if you're not just doing it with me. Anyway, let's hear what they have to say about the two ways that the left can be defeated.
There are two ways to beat the left. You can either out-argue them or you can out-breed them. And when you want to talk about
That is why I decided I had to cover this clip. They want to great replace us? Yes. Well, so every conservative accusation is a confession of what they intend to do or are actively doing or have done. So, very commonly, conservatives who are less obsessed with race, but still agree with far-right white nationalist beliefs, won't argue that they believe in racial racial segregation, not desegregation, of our country, like deporting non-white people and barring non-white people from entering because of any type of like racism or bias against people of color, but instead, simply because they acknowledge people of color in America tend to vote Democrat more often than Republican. And so they just admit that out of self-preservation for their own American conservative values being able to succeed, they don't want more brown people coming to America and voting Democrat because it is skewing the voting ratio in their view. Essentially what they admit is that they want to build America, like they want to have an America in which non-white people's votes don't count because they see that too many non-white people vote Republican, or vote non-Republican. They vote Democrat. And the other argument that he takes the side of outbreed, right? And so his argument is that conservatives need to have more kids. That conservatives need to have a lot more kids, like big families, like quiverful style families, massive, like huge families of kids, and indoctrinate them hardcore, ideally via homeschooling, into being conservative and voting Republican. That is their desperate side plan to try to keep the Republican Party viable going into the future, encouraging an insane amount of breeding among the Republican population in order to create really massive families, and hopefully those kids are able to be indoctrinated enough that they end up voting Republican and helping to prolong the Republican Party's ability to keep on getting elected in the future. It's sort of like a Dark Souls Age of Light type thing. Like in Dark Souls, you have the choice of either letting the Age of Light end and letting the Age of Dark come, which would be like letting the Republican Party die, or you can feed yourself into the flame and keep it going for another cycle. And that's basically what the Republicans are trying to do. They're trying to convince as many like conservative Americans as possible to breed so that their kids can be kindling to the fire that'll keep the Republicans going for another future cycle. Just one more if they can eke it out. Let's continue. This also plays largely into why they are so in favor of banning contraception, which is what I'm getting into, by the way, is that this is heavily related to the right's desire to ban your rights to contraception.
The next generation of Americans. This is real and happening now, folks. The pro-life movement is scoring all sorts of victories. But did you know the abortion pill accounts for over half of the abortions committed in this country? More than 1,000
Remember, they call abortions a committed act. They talk about it like it's murder, and they of course wish for women who get abortions and the doctors who do them as well to be charged as murderers and to, in some cases, be killed, like with the death penalty. You know, like they advocate for death penalty for murderers, and they say that doing an abortion or getting one is murder. So you put together the dots. Committed, holy shit! Like I needed more reasons to call them insane. Oh, I mean, like these people are the most powerful online figures advocating for pure evil online. Like they are literally doing their like circle of evil get together where they smoke cigars in suits like literal TV villains to plan out their like future plans for indoctrinating the sheep of society into their like evil regime. like it is literally cartoonish what we are watching right now.
Preborn children die at the hand of this poison every single day. Preborn is the organization providing a solution to that devastating situation. Women are being fed the abortion pill and led to believe that it's an easy and safe way to terminate an unwanted pregnancy.
You've noticed this, by the way, right? Just Pearly Things, Sydney Watson, the Daily Wire guys. They're all now across the board pushing against morning after pill, birth control pills. They're all trying to do this whole, we're warning women about the risk of these pills, meanwhile advocating for their banning overall. They're not advocating for people to be educated about this choice. They're trying to grow a falsely informed sentiment against these pills and against these medications so that there is more leniency against them as they push for these rights to be taken away from people who choose to use those medicines. They want to control. Yeah. So yeah, very clear what they're doing here.
Whatever euphemisms they use. But they are not being told the truth about the harmful side effects and, of course, the emotional trauma.
Yep, there it is. There it is. So they're all taking I wonder if they're all getting the same script, because they all are saying the same line of arguments. Sydney Watson, Just Pearly Things, and the Daily Wire people are all giving the same script of, we're just trying to warn and inform these people, these women mostly, about the risks of birth control. Meanwhile, they are calling it evil and advocating for its banning, and Republican politicians they support and are most likely, in cahoots with, are also actively trying to ban them, notably in North Carolina and Wisconsin right now. Getting an abortion is not traumatic. Being forced to give birth is way more traumatic and physically dangerous. Of course, yes. They do not have a single shred of care for the health and safety of women, I promise you.
Left behind. This is a heartbreaking reality that needs to be addressed. Preborn network clinics are there for these women, offering love, hope, and an abortion reversal pill, thank God, which can save their baby if taken soon enough. But they cannot do this without...
That's right, guys. That is freaking right. He is actually shilling to his audience a made-up pill, a supplement thing like Alex Jones that claims to be an abortion reversal pill. It claims to be able to reverse an abortion if you take an abortion pill. I guess this is marketed like, did your daughter take the morning after pill? Well, sneak this into her meal before midnight the next night, and you can save the baby. Maybe. And if it doesn't happen, well, we didn't say there was a 100% chance. So, guys, Alex Jones has been doing this shit for a long time. You guys know that Alex Jones has been selling, bogus supplements with no issues legally for decades, right? It's just Daily Wire's getting into it, too. Only they're willing to go as far as to say, yep, we are selling abortion reversal pills. Holy fuck, how is this legal? They have a lot of money, and fines are just the fee to admission if you're rich and powerful. I'm sure they'll get hit with a fine for this, but is the fine going to cost more than what they're going to make from selling these pills? Usually not. Fines are, generally speaking, just a fee to admission. If you're poor, it's illegal to do it. But if you have the money, and you're going to make profit from breaking the law that's just fined as the penalty, then it is literally just an admission fee. It's an investment, if anything. Anyway, let's continue.
Without our help, as all their services are free. For just $28, you can help hurting women and at-risk babies. Dial pound 250.
I mean, I don't need to say how pure evil this is, right? How ghoulish this is. Spend $20 to save your baby with the abortion reversal pill. This has, of course, not been FDA approved. It is not scientifically proven to do anything. This is just straight up demonic, and they are preying on the stupidity, naivety, and gullibility of their fans. This should really give you some insight into how backwoods stupid the fans of this content are. They believe that abortion reversal pills are a thing, and will buy them without double checking. And some might double check, see it's not real, and then say, I'm not listening to that fake news, and then go and buy the pills anyway. That's what we're dealing with here. Evil people taking advantage of stupid people.
And say the keyword baby, or visit preborn.com/backstage. All gifts are tax deductible. You will never regret saving a child's life. That is pound 250, say baby, that's the code word, or visit preborn.com/backstage. And we're talking about the babies and the sweet babies and the daddy and everything. I know we have to get to this because it's here on my schedule.
He said that to Matt Walsh, the sweet baby daddy, whatever the thing he said. That is a reference to Matt Walsh's Sweet Baby Gang diaper baby plushies, the diaper baby plushies with his head on them. He calls himself a theocratic fascist in his bio, and he affirms it's not ironic or a joke every time it comes up on his show. He is an open and admitted fascist, but his fans are so gullible and stupid and so used to the idea that the left calls anything they don't like like fascism or Nazi. They just think, yeah, he's ironic. Their fans are so stupid they can say, we're Nazi fascists to their face, and they'll be like, good one. That'll trigger those lefties. So you know how Matt Walsh and Michael Knowles and the Daily Wire have their faux reversing abortion pills that are not a real thing, that they made up and are just selling to gullible, stupid people to shill to their audience? Well, clearly what they're doing here is trying to raise sentiment against birth control, access to contraceptive materials, birth control, etc. They want to take that right away from you. They are Republicans across the board, especially in, as I mentioned before, Wisconsin and North Carolina, are trying to do this very hardcore. And this is why I've decided to get into contact with a group called, hold on, let me get the links for you. If you guys want to actually be able to do something about this, the right's attempts to take away your access to contraceptive rights, to be able to take away your access to condoms, birth control, morning after pill, IUDs, implants, all these things, then I recommend that you do one or both of these two things. I've actually got resources for you I'm going to be putting in the chat. And if you really want to get involved, if you really want to actually do something about it, and most of these things are not even going to require you to leave your computer, okay? You can get involved with a group called Progressive Victory. They have a volunteer intake form that I'm going to drop a link for here that you can sign up for. It's at www.protectcontraceptives.com. You can go and you can sign up with them, and you can volunteer. Yeah, they will give you some work, some type of work that is befitting of what you want to do. If you don't want to do something, they won't make you do that. But if there's something that you feel that you can contribute that is within your means and what you want to do, then they'll have something for you, I am sure. And another thing you can do not forget, is you can contact your representatives. Here is a link through which you can send a letter to Congress telling them to protect contraceptive rights. Both of those links are some of the best resources, probably the best resources I can provide to you guys, where you can, right now, get involved and fight against the Republicans' burning battle against your right to have contraceptives of any kind. It is your choice, but I think you have the right to make that choice for yourself, and I think everybody else has the right to make that choice for themselves. Conservatives do not think you deserve to have that choice. They are trying to take that right away. And those links, these organizations, this is how. Getting involved with them is how you can fight against what the right is doing. They have a lot of power. They have a lot of money. They have big platforms. But the left actually has people. It's a lot more grassroots. So if you guys actually get involved, the right can't actually do anything to fight against that. They spend all that money to try to get people on board. People are already on board with this position. But you have to get involved and show it. So to all of you who actually do, I really do appreciate it. There will be links, both of those links, in the pinned comment and descriptions of this video. I really appreciate all of you who watched and all of you who end up getting involved.